All right. It's 6 o'clock. It is Sunday, 15th of March. And welcome to the Sunday Sesh. What the fuck just happened at Brookvale? That's the real question. Uh, we're on a bit later than usual. I would have loved to have watched the Knights and the Manly game live. Would have been fucking great for content, but not real good for my ego because I would have had the Knights boys in here absolutely giving it to me. I'm hoping. Nah, I'm only joking. I was about to say I'm hoping they don't jump on. I'm sure the Steves will be along at some point. One in particular. Didn't even last a minute. Didn't even last a minute. Steve's in the chat. Cue the music. We are the champions. Yep. Give him the trophy. Fuck. Give him the trophy and give me your bank details, Steve. I owe you $20, mate. Unfucking believable. What are we doing? So, thoughts? I did say it was going to be 40 all, and for a while everyone said I was mad. Someone even suggested I get some um, concussion testing for picking 40 all. It looked like we were going to be on for a while, but only one team held up their end of the bargain. Manly were an absolute disgrace. If Seabold's not checking Seek ads during the week, then he's more deluded than I thought. What an absolutely horrible game. Well done to you, Steve Leary. Unfortunately, Ponga and Brown both out, mate. That's going to make the next couple of weeks tough. Fletcher Sharp is meant to come back next week. Thought Manly will gobble that lead. Mate, at halftime, even though it was 30-10, I had visions of myself getting carried off the field on people's shoulders because it looked like it was going to be 40 all. I thought they're going to run that down for sure, and it's going to be 40 all. There's a couple of people watching, guys. The chat is live. Jump in, say good day. Don't let Steve have it all his own way. He's gloating away on a Sunday night. Fuck, but you only beat Manly, mate. You only beat Manly. But two good wins for the Knights. I've been thinking about some of my predictions and the ones that may have been wrong. I'm not willing to say that I was wrong about the Knights yet, especially given Ponga and the $13 million myth just did his knee. But another win or two like that, I will happily admit that I was wrong. And we know that happens quite often. How's everyone's week been? I've been down in the city. That's why we're on late. Had a few commitments on down there. Function for work last night at the Fullerton. Saw some crazy shit in the city today. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll go through all the round two games. I'm feuding on Facebook. There's a big blow up on Facebook. I know that sounds familiar, but something's gone crazy wrong there. I saw a dog in shoes today. We'll talk about dogs in shoes. Golf handicap's getting close. We'll do a rundown. We will run down all the round two games. I will do my round three predictions live as I read the games. I don't even know who's playing yet and see how wrong we can get it. And we'll have a laugh while the Dolphins, I think I've tipped this game to be 70-3. 70-3, the Dolphins over the Titans. What were your thoughts on the game, Steve? Apart from Manly rubbish and Knights good, do you have anything more articulate to say than that? So while Steve's collecting his thoughts, and can you just confirm that you can actually see me? That would be great because my screen's not showing me as up. I was down in the city today. Let's start with the city. I'm going to refresh this. There we go. Yeah, I can see me now. That's what's most important. So we took the kids for a walk around the city today. What a fucking weird and wonderful place we live in. I don't know if anyone saw on Instagram, but I posted a video. In the middle of Martin Place in the Pitt Street Mall is this tiny little pink pop-up shop that says Barbie. That's all it says on it. Oh, I didn't know that was there. What I saw first was a line that was about a kilometre long. So it's, well, what time did we leave the hotel? Left hotel about 11 o'clock. We walk out the front. There's a line about a kilometre long for something. I'm looking at the line, trying to judge by the people in it what it might possibly be. A lot of grown men, a lot of grown men, a lot of older boys, couple of women, couple of young kids. And I'm thinking, oh, there must be a show on. There must be something on. We keep walking. We get about a kilometre down the Pitt Street Mall. There's this fucking Barbie pop-up shop selling Barbie charms. These people are lined up for a kilometre for Barbie charms to put on a bracelet, I think. What has the world come to? And then question the crowd. So, as I said, I'm looking at the crowd to try and judge who was there or what was going on, mostly grown men. Now, I went and had lunch with some people afterwards. And I said, oh, maybe it was dads going there for their kids. There is no fucking way I'm standing in line for however many hours they had to stand there to get some Barbie charms for a bracelet. I don't think they were there for that, which is very, very, very concerning. Very concerning. I couldn't believe it. I went down there and then I heard later on huge blow-ups from the Barbie line. The shop had promised to be open till 4 o'clock. There was a lady there that one of my mates spoke to that had driven from Penrith. She'd driven 2 hours into the city for her daughter to be there. By the time they got there, it was all sold out. That was at midday. And by the time we got back at 3 o'clock, the 4 o'clock opening, they were already packed up and there was security everywhere. So I reckon while I was off having some beautiful yum cha, I wish I could remember the name of the yum cha restaurant. Mario's saying, can you show us the screen? I reckon I'm on. Steve-O, can you see me? Hey, Mario, how are you? Anyway, I was having some beautiful yum cha. And then I got back and the security was everywhere. So I reckon there's been a riot on, I reckon there's been a riot at the Barbie shop. So, Mario, if you can't see the screen, mate, I'm not sure what's going on. It's live on my side. It all looks good here. So maybe refresh the screen, Mario, because the others can see me. Welcome aboard, mate. Good to have you along. Oh, no, you can't see the game. No, fuck, YouTube won't let me show the game. YouTube won't let me show the game, Mario, so your best bet is to chuck it on, mate, and watch along and we can have a chat about it. I've only got 3 people fucking watching ever, mate. 2 Steves and now you, Mario, so welcome aboard, and I don't want to get kicked off. They'll do me for copyright. They'll do me for copyright. So anyway, can anyone who's checking the news or is in the city or has been in the city today, can you confirm whether there was a riot to do with Barbies? Because I need to know. I need to know. There was a St. Patrick's Day parade down there today. I hadn't seen a St. Patrick's Day parade. That was pretty cool. But 2 things that absolutely blew my mind: a 1 kilometre line for Barbie chimes, a 1 kilometre line full of grown men. And then I saw a dog wearing Crocs. Who do I go for? I go for Manly, Mario. I go for fucking Manly, all right? And I reckon you knew that. That's why you asked the question. I go for the team who just capitulated at home to the Mighty Knights. That's who I go for. Until next year when I go for the Bears. So anyway, we walk past the Barbie line and then we're heading down to Marketplace, mainly. We're heading down to Marketplace. Oh, Haymarket, sorry. And here comes a fucking dog with shoes on. A fucking dog with shoes on. All 4 feet. And then one of my kids got a closer look. They were Crocs. They were dog Crocs. What in the world are we coming to? Where a dog is wearing Crocs and grown men are lining up for a kilometre for Barbie charms. That's been my day in the city. Absolutely mind-boggling. Dolphins, Steve, by how many? What'd you say about the footy? Yeah, it's about to get tough though. Yeah, I can think. Yeah, Seabold's in trouble. Seabold's in huge trouble. Who do you go for, Mario? And I reckon I've said before, mate, I reckon the Dolphins win by 70-3 is my pick on the score here. And I've got two of the Dolphins. I've got Asako and Cobbo in my super coach. So their Titans are shit. Titans are very shit. Titans are extraordinarily shit. So let me ask you this. Have you ever seen a dog in Crocs before? And who the fuck does that to their dog? And should we be feuding with them? There's three questions there. Have you ever seen it? Who the fuck does that? And should we be feuding with them? Panthers supporter. Well, that's easy, isn't it? Everyone can be a Panthers supporter. I can tell you, Mario, if you want someone to feud with, Steve Leary hates the Panthers. So Steve Leary hates the Panthers. Oh, God damn it. Panthers look good, though. Panthers look good. And then what type of person puts their dog in Crocs? So no one's ever seen it. I've definitely never seen it. So I think my book of feuds, we can kick off the book of feuds early. It's people who dress their pets up. People who dress their pets up can go and get barked. Absolutely stupid. And when it comes to dogs' feet and their hips and everything, don't you reckon putting them in shoes can't be good for their health? It can't be good. And then you know how they say that pets mirror their owners in personality? Their owners look like fucking twats too. I can tell you the score as we're going along, Mario. Can't get near a radio or a telly. It hasn't kicked off yet, mate. We'll keep you up to date with the score. Very active in the chat, Mario. So the book of feuds this week is people who dress their dogs up. There's nothing funnier and also nothing that fucking, it just pisses me off because you know what type of people they're going to be. You know what type of people they're going to be. Have you ever met anyone who dresses their dog up that is a good bloke or a good person or someone you want to hang around with? I reckon Mario's a stitch up. Mario's probably my son, actually. If I find out it is my son, yuppies. Yeah. Oh, mate. Yeah, yuppies or just fucking weirdos, bro. Weirdos, Steve. I mean, seriously, dress your dog up. What are we doing? You just know that the minute that happens, they're going to be a prick. They're going to be a prick. Can tell you too, there's a bloke on an e-bike feuding with me. He wouldn't get out of my way. That's all right, Mario. All good, brother. Good to have you in. I've got a 14-year-old son who likes to stitch me up. So there's every chance. So there's a bloke on an e-bike, boys, that was riding down the centre lane instead of the bike lane. There's fucking bike lanes in the city for a reason. He's pedaling along at 20 kilometres an hour. I'm up behind him. He probably can't hear me because I'm in a hybrid vehicle anyway. So I give him a toot. He doesn't move over. I give him a honk. He moved over after the honk. My wife doesn't like it when I honk. She doesn't reckon I wait long enough between the toot and the honk. The toot's nice. The honk is get the fuck out of the way. And I'm very quick. If I toot and you don't move, we're straight onto a honk, right? So I honk. He gets out of my way, but he gives me the eyes. I drive past him and then you wouldn't guess what happens. Red light up ahead. So then I've got e-bike next to me. He's caught up. And then my light stays red, his light goes green, e-bike ends up, and we're going to exactly the same place. E-bike ends up miles in front of me down the line, so points to e-bike guy on that one. He's on one of them hire bikes in the city. Aren't they a scourge on society, all the hire bikes in the city? Fucking lying all over the joint. Plenty of homeless down there, though. Why don't the homeless just jump on the e-bikes? They'd be having a ball. They'd be having an absolute ball down there. So anyway, that's been my day. Dogs in fucking shoes, people on e-bikes outdoing me in the truck, and fucking feuding with people who dress up their pets. Barbie lines and fucking Barbie lines. Unbelievable. So before we get into the footy wrap, this happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I'm just getting a text, too soon for Foz to take over as coach. It's never too soon for Foz to take over as coach. Seabold's got to go straight away. Seabold needs to get the fuck out. So let's wrap up the Manly Knights game properly. Manly absolutely diabolical. I knew going into it that neither team could tackle, and that's why I picked a 40-all draw. Both got good attacks, well, sort of. And I knew that neither team could tackle. So there's a very good chance there's a 40-all. I also didn't want to tip Manly, but because I had a $20 bet with Steve Leary, gamble responsibly, I fucking had to tip him, didn't I? So I did. And that's the reason you won, Steve. I said last week, I'm the biggest mock in rugby league history. So the only reason the Knights won is because I tipped fucking Manly. Manly looked disgusting. Manly looked absolutely disgusting. Turbo looked good early, but their attack in the second half, when all they needed to do was hold onto the ball and they would have strolled over, was an absolute joke. Their attitude is fucking terrible. And I've said it before with Manly. The minute they come across any adversity, they fold like a deck of cards. They are chocolate soldiers, mate. The minute the heat's on, they melt, and that's a direct reflection of their coach and his attitude and his way, the way he goes about his business. Seabold needs to go now. He needed to go yesterday. I think him and Todd Payton might be on the job line together looking at Centrelink. The Knights, for everything the Knights were doing, they look good, and in direct antithesis of what happened to Manly, they had huge adversity. Ponga goes down and Dylan Brown does his knee 5 minutes later. Huge adversity. And the old Knights, the wooden spoon Knights of last year and years gone by, would have just crumbled as well. But they fucking stayed strong. Fogarty needs to go. I did say he'd be gone by week 4, so maybe one of my picks will be right. You're right there, Steve. He did nothing. And that's when, and I said at the start of the year, Manly's problem was going to be with Fogarty Brooks, if Turbo wasn't taking over the game, we had no one to steal big moments or no one to take big moments. Fogarty didn't take a big moment last week. And when, your opposition loses all its best players, all of them gone, you just step up and run amok, and he did nothing. Did nothing, got to go. I don't know if they'll get rid of Fogarty, though. I reckon what they'll do is maybe put the Union kid in at 6 and put Brooks on the bench. Although Brooks actually decided to run the ball today, made a few breaks. So who knows? Who knows? But Manly in deep froth and bubble. They gave, I think, Olakwatu had only had something like 5 runs with 20 minutes to go in the second half. And every time he ran the ball, he absolutely destroyed him. So why the fuck didn't he touch the ball more? I don't understand. They're trying to set up fucking Ben Trbojevic down the left-hand side. And listen, Trbojevic is Manly, but fucking he's not a barnstormer, is he? As if you're not giving the ball to fucking Olakwatu every chance you get. And he was running at Sandon Smith. He was meant to be running at Sandon Smith. So you fucking give Olakwatu the ball every chance you get, I would have thought. Not that I know much, apparently, because fuck me, has Facebook blown up. So Facebook has dead set stitched up a whole bunch of morons. A whole bunch of fucking morons. The algorithm's got them good. So before the season, a week before the season started, I put out my predictions for the year. We did it week by week. We went 4 by 4. And before the first games of the year in Vegas, we had the fucking whole ladder locked in. That post went out on the 23rd of February. And for whatever reason, Facebook algorithm has decided to push that post today. Today, 2 weeks in and a long time from the 23rd of February, it's decided it's going to let everyone see that post, which is great, except the fucking morons who haven't read the date and think that I put the post out today, 2 weeks into the season, and still had the Broncos in fourth, even though they'd lost 2 games, and still had the Roosters coming second, even though they look shocking, and all the rest of it. Facebook has stitched up the morons. I've seen, and mate, you know what else I've worked out today? Facebook is much angrier than fucking anywhere else on social media. Everyone on Facebook really needs a hug because they have been absolutely giving it to me. No rhyme or reason to it. Like the language coming out of their mouths, I mean, it makes a grown man blush. The names I've been called, they're not providing any solutions, mind you. They're just telling me I'm wrong. They're calling me all sorts of names, telling me to get off fucking Facebook. Good, just don't watch. I've got no issues. And let's not forget, one of the fucking key elements of this podcast is shit talk. So I've got no dramas with it. No one's hurting my feelings. But God, yous are dumb. God, yous are dumb. Look at the date on the fucking post. It says the 23rd of March. If I'm putting up a fucking 2026 ladder prediction after the season's already started, it's hardly a fucking prediction, is it? It's hardly a fucking prediction. And then I've got morons. I didn't know I had to bring my ID along. They clearly haven't seen any of the other posts or watched any of the podcasts, but I've got a bunch of people saying, who are you? With 3 question marks. Well, you know, when you send 3 question marks, you really want to know the answer. Well, who the fuck are you? Let's start there. I didn't know I had to bring my ID to my own fucking NRL ladder predictions. But you know what is very interesting? Very interesting is how angry I've made Tigers fans. I have made Tigers fans very, very, very angry because I put them in as the Magpies. It's not because I put them in coming in fucking 15th or whatever I had them. It's because I called them the Magpies. We're bordering on death threats. I haven't had any death threats yet, but I reckon there's some coming. They're fucking funny. And only a couple of them have got the joke. A couple of them. One guy's still going back and forth with me. He hasn't worked out. He's been trolled. He's adamant that they're the Tigers and they shouldn't be called the Magpies. He's still got no idea why I called them the Magpies. The post came out the week the whole board got overthrown. The Magpies kicked everyone out and were about to take over the club until the NRL stopped them. That's the week the post came out. That's why they're called the Magpies in the post. But I'm not I love that passion, right? I love the passions from the Tigers fans, and I fucking love what the Tigers are doing. Go Benji. So that I find funny. The idiots who think I've put a prediction post up 2 weeks in and go, yeah, good call. How do you have the Broncos in fourth when they've already lost 2 games? Fucking wake up to yourself. Have a look, will you? Have a look. Facebook has absolutely stitched you up. I'm walking down. I've walked a kilometre past the Barbie line. I've seen a dog in shoes. There's clearly been a riot. St. Patrick Day's parade. My phone just starts going. Bzz, 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 bzz. There's 100 comments in about 3 hours. People just fucking giving it to me for something I posted a month ago. And I'll reply to most. I try and reply to the comments because it's fun. That's what we're meant to be doing. We're meant to be having a bit of banter. But fuck me, some of them. One guy, I mean, the laziest comment of all was just a poo emoji. I think there's 2 lazy people. One who just sent one emoji. Poo emoji was pretty lazy. And he followed up with, I said, thanks for your contribution. He said, no worries, you're still shit. Pretty lazy. And the people who go, and who are you? Like I'm fucking trying to pretend to be anyone famous. You got to be some fucking celebrity now to have an NRL ladder prediction. Fuck me. So anyway, it's great for it's great for my reach. It's great for my engagement. My followers have gone up about 47,000% on Facebook just today. So for everyone who's bagging me, there's clearly some people who don't mind it because they've all followed. But the world is an interesting place. It never ever ceases to amaze me. Never ever ceases to amaze me. So keep going, bring it on, jump on the socials, do your best, but check what date the fucking post come out, you blockheads. Please, please, for your own sake. And it's also fucking great, everyone saying how wrong I am. We're 2 weeks in. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that annoys me. Provide me a solution. They're not giving any constructive feedback. I'm all about constructive feedback, boys. Constructive feedback would say, you're shit, you don't know what you're talking about because the fucking Tigers aren't going to come 15th. I reckon so-and-so is going to come third or whatever. But none of that. They're just saying you're a shit cunt. PNG, how are you, mate? Chat's going off today. How good is that? 2-0 Dolphins. So I did say 70-3, 2-0 to the Titans. I did say 70-3 the Dolphins. So, and someone commented on the socials about how the 3 points was going to go down. I thought it was going to be 3 field goals, but they said a penalty goal and a field goal. So we've got 2 of the 3 points for the Dolphins. So that's good. Now we need 70. Fuck, we can't do a para. We can't do a fucking para, can we? Titans cannot win this game. I know I said I didn't rate the Dolphins for the top 4, but they can't win this game. That'll kill me. That'll absolutely kill me. Good on you, PNG. Going to have a footy team in a couple of years, mate. That's exciting. That's real exciting. Someone else who can fucking flog Manly because we're absolutely shit at football. That's what we need. Bunch of blokes going to buy lots of boats with all their tax-free money. Bunch of blokes going to buy lots of tax-free boats with their tax-free money, I reckon. Oh, fuck now, Rishi. Rishi's giving it to me. Mate, that's just homophobic. We don't like that. Rishi's in the text absolutely giving it to me now. We won't post that. See if he shows up in the chat. If Rishi shows up in the chat, I'm fucking going to town on him. Where's my notes? All right. So before we get one last thing, before we get into the footy wrap, everyone's hanging on to see how my golf game's going. Thanks for asking, everybody. It's a question on the tip of everyone's tongues. I had a fucking good game during the week. I had a great round at 86 off a stick. It's my second best score since my comeback, and it's put me at a 16.3 handicap. So those who haven't been following along, the whole thing has been the road to 15. I've got to get to a 15 handicap by March the 31st. 2-0, bro. 2-0 Titans, Dolphins. Fucking Tino's just run over and they took the try off him. I've got Tino in my super coach, so that would have been good. 2-0 Titans over the Dolphins. And the fucking Dolphins just opened up like the Sydney Heads to let the Titans in, but fucking Tino got pulled back, which is great because it would have ruined my prediction. So I snuck a game in on Friday morning. We had 38 points, which brought me from a 16.7 handicap to a 16.3 handicap, which for those doing the maths at home, I need 0.4 off my handicap to be a 15 handicapper by March 31st. I reckon I'm only going to get one game in, though, to get it done. So there's big pressure on. That means I've got to go low in that game. I don't handle pressure well. Hence, I'm sitting in a garage instead of on a yacht somewhere getting tax-free money playing for PNG. Pressure was never my fucking forte. But we had a good round. Was having Wayne as the inaugural coach a success? For the Dolphins? You mean for the Dolphins, Pedro? Welcome, Pedro. Pedro's in the chat. So a couple of things to come out of the golf game. I'm a bit of a superstitious fella. I always put my left shoe on first, and when something's going good, you can't break it. So Random Gorilla, who's not in the chat today, but he's a regular, sent me some golf gear to try on. And my two good scores, both wearing a Random Gorilla shirt. So a tradition is fucking born. I cannot play golf in any other shirt now until I have a busted score. The other one was the blokes who I met before it. So both good games. I met the same blokes on the putting green before it. So I don't know which bit's the magic dust. Is it the shirt or is it the blokes I met before it? I'm not sure. But we need to keep both those things going. I've got one round to get to 15. I need to score about 37 points. I need to have a round of 85 or 86, which is tough going. Tough going when you're a shit golfer like me, but I think we can do it. So stay tuned. Pedro, when you said Evan Wayne as the inaugural coach, did you mean for the Dolphins? Oh, Cobbo's away down the sideline. No, got him. That's enough of the golf update. All right, let's go through all the games while we're watching this one. Hang on a sec. Titans. Oh! Kano Kinney just flew about 36 metres in the air to take a bomb. Herbie took out his legs, didn't get penalised. How is that? How is that? Fucking hell. Broncos Eels. If anyone jumps on here and says that they tipped the Eels, I'm going to call bullshit. I should have stuck solid. I tipped them for round one against the Storm of all people. Did not tip them against the Broncos. And I did say in my weekly tips that back when I was a kid, maybe not even that long ago, there was two teams that are prone to getting upset in Brisbane at Suncorp, the Tigers and the Eels. Every now and again, or for a few years in a row there, the Eels and the Tigers would dust Brisbane up there. And that was back when, like, Brisbane were red hot. Brisbane had all the fucking Australian players. The Tigers again. I remember the Tigers beat them up there once. Chris Lawrence's debut in first grade for the Tigers. He scored like a 70 or 80 metre try from memory. He was 17 at the time. Dusted the Broncos, and the Eels had a habit of doing it. So I wasn't going to be heaps shocked if the Broncos did it. The Eels did it, but it still wasn't enough to tip the Broncos. So I didn't tip the Broncos. And after 20 or 15 minutes, looked like a fucking genius for not tipping the Eels. And then what happened? Can anyone explain to me what happened? These commentators and journos who I've been ripping into, they're not going to know what to do with themselves this week because you've got Todd Payton, you've got Anthony Seibold, and you got Madge going to take up a lot of the press. Bronson Xerri's joined the party by demanding a release from the Bulldogs. They're not going to know who to talk about this week. So what do? Oh, Dolphins are arcing up in defence here. Max Plath's back. Max Plath is back. So we know with the Panthers scoring 26 against the Broncos last week, Para doing what they did to them this week, the Broncos' defence isn't up to scratch, which isn't good when you're going for a title defence. We knew that Para's defence wasn't up to scratch after Melbourne put 50 on them. So what happened on the weekend or the other day is always going to be a possibility of happening, but it shouldn't. And what it did do was start raising questions because you follow that game on from the weekend we'd had before where it seemed like every game had 40, 50, 60 points scored in it at least. There was a lot of talk during the week about whether that was going to be the new footy from now on, and a lot of people blowing up. So the refs and the NRL talked about doing less six agains and less bits and pieces because it was getting a bit of a joke. But that game didn't look like it, and you can't tip it. And what I hope doesn't happen is Volandis comes out and says that's the game people want to watch because I don't know who we are. So I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want to see 40 to 30 NRL games all day. And I don't know anyone who does. And you can't have, sides like the Broncos getting out to 20 and then fucking, it was 20 to 4 they got to, I think. And then the Eels of all people being able to come back and then the Broncos and the Eels. The game shouldn't work like that. But too many of the games are. So it was, in that sense, it was a bad start to the week. Oh, hey! Avarillo beats a couple, gets held up short. Dolphins are going to go in here. Dolphins are going for their first one. Come on. Oh, you fucking idiot. That was a bad pass. Dolphins spilt the lollies. Dolphins look like they heard my prediction. Dolphins look like they heard me say they were going to win 70 to 3 and they're not doing any of the hard stuff first. They're throwing the ball around like it's a game of touch footy instead of just bashing them, running up the middle. Shark showed last week that all you got to do to the Titans, run them up the middle and then you can go around them. So anyway, what do we learn from the Broncos Eels? Oh, we're going to cop another week of Madge trouble. We'll cop another week of people saying that he shouldn't be the coach and he's worked them too hard. And the reason that Para was able to come back was because they were too tired from too tough a preseason. And then from the Eels, what did we learn? Well, Jonah Pezzett, I'm happy for Jonah. He had a good comeback, scored something like 85 Supercoach points and actually looked like the player that we all know he could be. But until I think we get a couple of weeks, I don't know what sort of form line. Apart from there's a couple of teams you can trust their form line, Panthers being one. But I don't know too many. I haven't seen too many teams that we can trust their form line. So I'm not sure with the Eels. Halves are 89 years old combined. Yeah. That's the Broncos. Well, fucking Adam Reynolds went down again, didn't he? Adam Reynolds went down again. Ezra Mam didn't look great. Reece Walsh started off like a house on fire, but then fucking turned it up, had a few fucking rocks or diamonds moments again. Those calls will come out. Reece Walsh, rocks or diamonds. Wasn't that everyone's favourite last year? So the Broncos 0-2 to start the year with a loss to the Panthers, which you can understand, and a fucking horrific loss to the Eels, which no one will understand. But we move on. Captain's challenge in the footy. It's still 2-0 Titans. What's happened here? Did Hammer get it down? That's going to be a dropout. Captain's challenge successful. That's going to be a dropout. Well done, the Hammer. Was in the milk. What about the was? What about the was? I was going to tip Canberra and then I fucking remembered how stupid that is when you tip against the was in New Zealand. Did it all last year and fuck, it cost me some points in the tipping comp. You can't tip against the was in New Zealand, doesn't matter who they're playing. Not only did they prove that theory right, they fucking gave it to the milk. Gave it to the milk. How good do the was look? So this will be where it may be one. We'll see if they cop any injuries, but it may be one of the predictions that I say, oh, hand up, I was wrong with the Wars because they look good. And the places I said they were going to be bad, they look good. Their forwards are strong. Their forwards are powerful. They look like they got depth there. They're bringing them on and off the bench and they're scoring tries willy-nilly. Tanner Boyd, Andrew Webster's done some work with Tanner Boyd in the off-season because he looks good as a halfback, steering them well. Milk looked tired. Mate, Milk playing the Wars in New Zealand. The Milk were playing the Wars in New Zealand. That's all I fucking take out of it. That's all I had written down here is the Wars are on fire. All the places I questioned them at the start of the year look good at the moment. Hopefully they don't get busted up again like they did last year, but their halves are working well. I think, did fucking Harris DeVita get hurt, so they've got to find someone for 5'8" next week. Luke Metcalf's still a few weeks off coming back, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And I didn't have much for the milk. I think they just fucking, and it was 6-all at half time. 6-all at half time. So all the worries about it being, all the worries that came out of the Broncos Eels game about, are we just going to have 40-30 every week for one half of football got put to the side because it was 6-all, flogging down rain, but 6-all with those two teams. Maybe I didn't see the whole, I didn't see every bit of it, Steve, so you might be able to tell me, but maybe that's why the milk looked tired in the second half, because the first half was just fucking, they were obviously just into each other. They're aggressive. They look aggressive this year, the Wars. They're really fired up in defence. They've always been good with the ball, and they've always had the size and the players to go with the ball with it, but they never seem to use it in defence. They look great in defence. And they put a cricket score on. So when we all thought, 6-all, maybe we're all overthinking this new style of footy again, that should turned into another fucking 50-point game. I'm happy for the Wars. Happy for the Wars, definitely. But they were playing in New Zealand, so I should finish that thought. Happy for the Wars, but it was in New Zealand. So let's see what happens when they, how their away form is before we start crowning them as joint premiers next to the Panthers. Fuck, they look good though. There's something about them sort of teams when they're playing well, you can't help but get behind them. You can't help but get behind them because they don't carry on. They don't have anyone. Like, there's no hate against the Wars. How can you hate the Wars? They give you no reason to, not like the Storm and the Dragons. They give you no reason to hate them, the Wars. So when they're going good, they play an exciting brand of footy. Fucking good on them. Good on them. Still 2-0 in the footy. 16 and a half minutes to go. Dolphins attacking. What's going on here? Fucking Titans. I think we're in trouble with me 70 points. I think the 70 points is in trouble. And Titans making easy ground. Oh, one-on-one steal. Herbie with a one-on-one steal. That might change the momentum. Can we do it? What did you have this as, Steve? You had this as 18 plus. We're in trouble, mate, with the tips. We're in fucking trouble. Tigers Cows. Tigers Cows. I love seeing that shit out of the Tigers during the week about Benji talking tough. Something about Benji talking tough. If that doesn't get you rock hard, I don't know what will. Follow our standards or fuck off. There's the door was a video clip they posted. And then they're playing at Leichhardt, and there's been a lot of talk about a new and improved Tigers, and they played well in the off-season. And finally, a team that played well in the fucking preseason has played well in their first game of the year. Finally, a team, I'll say it again, geez, I got a bit of Mick Innes about me, repeating a lot, but finally a team who looked good in the preseason and sucked us all in, looked good in their first game of the year. Because everyone else who fucking fired up during the preseason has looked like absolute bastards so far. Titans, case in point. Para, fuck. The Tigers stood up, mate. The Tigers look good. The Tigers are like the Wars. Pretty much everything I just said about the Wars, you can say about the Tigers. They look good, and you can't help but like it when they're playing good footy. It's very hard to hate the Tigers. They're a laughing stock because of what goes on off the field, but it's very hard to hate them on the field. They always play a good brand of footy. They're always fun to watch. You always love seeing it at Leichhardt. And they fucking give it to the Cowboys. And Todd Payton is saving Anthony Seibold seat with a newspaper and a ciggy for the Centrelink line this week. He's got to be gone. I don't know who gets sacked first, but I reckon Toddy's got to be. He'll be $1.40 favourite, and I reckon Seibold's about $2.80 because Manly, they're a bit funny like that. But fucking hell, Todd Payton's in some trouble. But the Tigers look fit. They look a bit better structured. They look like they're all getting along. Looks like all the new signings they're starting to click with their combinations. Looks like Jerome's fucking steering the team around. Like he looked like he had a bit of trouble doing that last year, but he's doing. I said if you've got Adam Dewey as your best first choice halfback, you might be in a bit of shite. I still don't see it as a fucking glowing endorsement if Adam Dewey's the best halfback in the club, but he played well. He played well. Everyone was going off, and the Cowboys were fucking woeful. The Cowboys had a Manly-esque performance, but worse, and they deserved the pounding that they got. They didn't look good at all for any of that game, the Cows. They'd straighten their attack up a little bit, but just no sting in defence, no going them, nothing. And when you got a roster that good, and we said this at the start of the year, when you got a roster that good and they can't get up for a game, coach has got to go. Absolutely, 1,000,000% the coach has got to go. Drinky, one of my favourite players ever. He looks struggle street, and I know he had busted ribs, but there's just nothing doing. He's getting the axe this week. I've got to sack the selectors for my Supercoach team, by the way. They've had a shocker to start the year. So Drinky's going to go. I nearly went. I saved myself, though. I nearly went Drinky to Ponga this week, and then Ponga's fucking done his hemming. So that would have been true fucking Wilson form if I'd done that. But I didn't, and I reckon plenty did. But Drinky will go this week. So the Cows, I had the Cows too high. I had the Cows coming 13th, I think. 13th above the Titans, the Tigers, the Knights, and the Dragons. So, geez, the bottom of my fucking table's looking good, isn't it? Cowboys are firming to challenge the Dragons for the spoon. There's some fucking Dragons fans upset at me about picking them for the spoon too, but their logic isn't exactly sound. One of them said, "You've got us for the spoon when we should have won the first week." You didn't fucking win the first week. You didn't win. You're on 0 points. You're going to get the spoon. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's a Shane Flanaganism, whoever that bloke who commented that on me Instagram page. You've got us in the spoon even though we should have won. Fucking hell. I reckon it was Shane Flanagan. It might have been Shane Flanagan's fucking alter account saying that we should have won. So give us the points. No, Dragons still for the spoon. But Cowboys look like the worst team in the comp at the moment. This game is woeful, so you can't say the Titans don't look like the worst team in the comp either, but fucking 2-0 with 11 minutes to go. Great game of footy. Cooper Bye's coming on. Come on for the Supercoach. Still got Cooper Bye in my Supercoach. I didn't play him, but we need some cash gen out of him. I need some cash gen out of Cooper Bye. What's Rishi doing? He won't jump in the fucking chat. Oh, I can't text him. On now. Bloody keyboard warriors. They'll bag me directly. Oh, actually, no, that's all right. They bag me directly. So they just won't jump on the fucking podcast to do it. Gotta love them. Love the boys. All right. So what did we learn? We learned that the Tigers are looking good, but they're playing. So exactly what I said about New Zealand. We'll worry about the Tigers. We'll see how the Tigers are really going when they're not playing at Leichhardt and they're not playing the Cowboys. You can't trust them yet. You can't trust them yet. But it fucking looked good for a first hit out. Happy for them. Happy for all the Magpies fans. Happy for all those people who couldn't tell I was joking when I called them the Magpies. Let's go the Maggies. Fucking 9 minutes till halftime. They look fit, the Tigers. They look fit. They look fast. Benji intense. I reckon they're on board with Benji. That's all about it. That's about all I had for that game. You see anything else, Steve? Jump in the chat, guys. Chat's live for the people who are watching. Don't be afraid. We're all friendly here. Watching an absolute bludger of a game, Titans and the Dolphins, 2-0 after 31 minutes. The battle for Queensland. Are these question controversial take? Are these the two best teams in Queensland now? Are these the two best teams in Queensland? Where's Dividends when you need to stir up a fucking Broncos supporter, mate? The two best teams in Queensland are the Titans and the Dolphins. What do we reckon about the Bronx? I don't know. It looks like, you know what happened? They wanted to prove to everyone they were still a good footy team. So they come out for the first 20 and absolutely gave it to them. And then it was like they said, righto, we've proven to everyone we're still a good footy team. So then they just fucking took their foot completely off the pedal again. I reckon that's what happened. And mate, I mean, it hard at 20-4. Oh, bold prediction. No, it's not that bold. It is. It's bold prediction. No Queensland team will make the 8. What about the Cowboys? No Queensland team will make the 8. I like it. So Cowboys, were putting a red line through them. Dolphins, I've had a red line through them since the start of the year. And now you're saying the Broncos don't even make the 8, Steve. Ooh, who goes in? So people forget, and I'm not saying you've forgotten, I'm sure you got an answer, but people do forget when they say someone's not going to make the 8, you got to replace them. So who do you take out of the 8? Oh, well, you're going to put the fucking Knights in. You're going to put the Knights in. But you would already had the Knights in the 8. Did you have the Broncos? All right, Steve, let's break this down. Did you have the Broncos in your 8 at the start of the year? Yes or no? Yeah, I know you had the Knights in your 8 at the start of the year because I owe you a house. Who are you taking out of your 8 that you had at the start of the year to put the Broncos in? I know you're putting so you're taking the Broncos out to put the Tigers in. Oh, big call. Just finished saying you can't trust the Tigers yet. Yeah, okay. Titans are in. That's blown the 3 points out. Titans are in. Dolphins have dropped the ball. Titans are going over in the corner. You can absolutely 100% put a red line through the Dolphins if they lose this game. Fucking cannot defend. Whatever happened to tackling in the NRL? Yeah, they look exciting. The Tigers do look exciting, mate. I'd love them to make the 8, but we all know they're going to come ninth. It's going to be the Tigers of old. They look great during the year and then they end up coming ninth. Fuck me, the Dolphins' defense is bad. It is so bad. I reckon I'll have a controversial take. So yeah, I won't be shocked, Steve. If the Broncos miss the 8, going back to that, we won't be shocked. So no Queensland team to make the 8. I like it. Wouldn't it be good if all Queensland teams and then the quasi-Queensland team, the Storm, miss the 8 as well? Wouldn't that be fucking fantastic for rugby league? Blues will still lose a fucking series because we've still got Laurie Daly as a coach, but how good would it be if all Queensland teams and the Storm miss the 8? Fucking Storm, though. We'll talk about them in a second. Jesus. Someone was in here before and they asked, was having Wayne as inaugural coach a success? Pedro said. Also, I think he was meaning the Dolphins, and I don't know, eh? Because Bennett's teams of late, they don't fucking defend well. Souths don't defend well now. The Dolphins don't defend well. I'm not sure what it is with them. But his teams at the moment, or his teams for the last few years, lack a fair bit of mongrel. I nearly left them off me fucking list, actually. You better talk about that game. Got a controversial take on the Roosters South. Let's talk about Roosters and South. Roosters South. So I tip South. Said it 100 times, but I don't reckon you can get off South until they get hurt. So I thought. Roosters first half, Roosters look good. Roosters aimed up. Roosters looked like they'd had their absolute arse given to them during the week for the way they played over in New Zealand. But against the future minor premiers, the Wars, who can blame them? It's turning out that your form against the Wars may not be real form because the Wars are just killing it. But anyway, Roosters aimed up. Roosters were back to being physical. They gave away less penalties. Their attack was still fucking clunky. DCE scored a try, but we hate Cherry. And then the worst thing that could have happened to South, and everyone's saying it's great for rugby league, and there've been a million people talk about it, so I guess we don't have to go on about it, but we will for a little bit. Worst thing that happened to South was AJ breaking the record. Tell me I'm wrong. They come out straight after half time, go score a length of the field try. The worst thing that could have happened was it be the record-breaking try and AJ score it. I reckon the way momentum's been going in the footy this year, if anyone other than AJ scores that try, the Rabbits put 2 or 3 more on them in quick succession and put the game to bed. And I don't know, I don't know what the commentators were going on about. I get what they were seeing, but you got to put a bit more thought into it. They're going, they're watching the Rabbits warm up again and watching the Roosters sit down and go, they look shell-shocked and they're going, we're a bit worried about the Roosters here. The Roosters came straight off the back of that and started giving it to them again and got the dominance back. So I actually think, and Mrs. Sunday Sesh was having an argument with me in the car, and I think Wayne Bennett knows it. Wayne Bennett knows that he was saying before the game he didn't want people to run on the field. And I reckon in his head, he's playing scenarios out. And one of the scenarios is it's a tight game. He scores when there's still heaps of time on the clock and it kills momentum because by virtue of being the team that scored and the way rugby league is at the moment, when you score, you've got momentum and teams are going on runs and scoring 3 or 4 tries back to back unless you're fucking Manly. So I reckon in his head when he was begging and pleading people not to go on the field before the game, he wasn't trying to be an arsehole. He knew there was a very good chance it was going to cost him, and I reckon it's cost him 2 points. And the debate I was having with Mrs. Sunday Sesh, she's going, well, he should just be happy and be more human and get in the moment. His fucking job is to win football games. And if they miss the 8 by 2 points, she said, oh, well, they could have won any other game. Yes, technically true, but not all those games are games that they should have won. And I reckon even though it was only to level the scores up, the way momentum went, they should have won that game. I reckon if that's not a record-breaking try, they win that game. Fucking Gibbsy's just texted in. This will be intelligent. My goodness. Manly suck. Yeah, I told you, intelligent. 2 words, Manly suck. Good on you, Gibbs. Good on you, Gibbs. Are you watching? I reckon he's texting me and he's watching in the background. Manly do suck, but that's not you're not exactly a scoop there. People are saying it's one of the greatest moments in rugby league with everyone running on the field. I don't know. I was watching on TV. I didn't get that vibe, eh? A lot of people at the game seem to be posting about how good it was, I guess. I think all the bullshit before it, I think all the bullshit talk before it meant that it wasn't as organic as it could have been. I don't know whether the NRL were been poo-pooing it for insurance reasons, like they had to come out publicly and say don't do it so that they couldn't get sued if something went wrong. But it seemed to take a bit of the edge off it, I reckon. I reckon the first people to jump over the fence were just trying to see whether they could get out of getting in trouble or not, whether it was real genuine. The first bloke to him was a fucking Roosters supporter. It's 8-0 Titans over Dolphins, which is an absolute turn-up, and it's been an absolutely shocking game. They're fucking under sevens playing. Cannot hang on to the ball. So out of the Roosters-Rabbits game, Roosters weren't as bad as they thought, but Sam Walker's still not doing enough. He's not doing enough. Angus Crichton, very fucking quiet. I've got to get him out of my super coach team as well. Dave Fafita looked good in patches. And that's a compounding fact. So not only did South lose momentum, to set that try up, Dave Fafita beat fucking 4 or 5 people to put Latrell away. And if you've ever watched a lot of Dave Fafita play, he only goes good in spurts. So that one run would have been enough for him to go for the next 10 or 15 minutes and absolutely tear it up. But if he has a quiet period where he doesn't touch the ball for 10 or 15 minutes, you don't get anything out of him. So fucking, they just killed him on every front. Come on, Dolphins, do something. Hooter's gone. Herbie's running around like a chicken with his head cut off. He's put a kick through. No good. 8-0 Titans at half time. My God, what a horrible game of footy. What a horrible game of footy. What's a bigger upset? Eels beating the Broncos or if the Titans win this game? What's a bigger upset? While I get a drink. I feel like I don't know. I think Para might be the bigger upset. Eels, yeah. But the Titan, I suppose. So, who do you reckon played worse the week before? The Eels or the Titans? The Titans were bad. Titans were fucking terrible. Just don't rate. I don't rate the Dolphins. I think you're right. Eels was a bigger upset. We don't agree on much, Steve Leary, but we'll agree on that. Make sure you send through your bank details, mate, so I can give you that 20. It's burning a hole in my pocket. Eels played against 14 in the first week. Yeah, they did. I don't think Aussie, yeah. I went off on Brent Reed last week, and that's gone absolutely bonkers on. Turns out that everyone on the planet agrees with me on Brent Reed. No one can copy him. That post went that clip. I put the clip up of us talking about Brent Reed when it went viral. There's about 300 comments, and not one person's argued with me. I've had the obligatory. I've had a couple of people say I look like him. That was pretty funny. Bit of a doppelganger because I had my hat on, my glasses. But not one person's argued with me. Not one person said he's a good journo. It's not even that. I don't even like saying that. Like it's Mrs. Your missus on board too. There's another tick. It was very different. It was funny because when we talked about Blocker Roach and that fucking post, that clip went crazy on the socials as well. People were throwing up other options. And we ended up with about 30 different people who people thought were the worst commentator. With the Reedy one, there's been a couple of people have said Dobbo. A couple of people have got confused and started throwing commentators in there because they missed the point of what I was trying to say. But overwhelmingly, I reckon it's probably 95% all think Reedy's a flog. And then, yeah, obviously people go, oh, obviously he's being paid to play devil's advocate. I get that. But geez, you're bad at it. You got to be subtle. I've been trying to find out the best. I've been trying to come up with the best analogy, and I use the weather app. I said because I'm feuding with the weather app. It's pissing down rain. Absolutely, it happened to me again the other day playing golf. Actually, absolutely pissing down rain, and you open the weather app and it says it's bright and sunny. That's Brent Reed. That's Brent Reed, but I think someone summed it up even simpler today. I saw a comment that said you'd give him an apple and he'd fucking talk to his blue in the face trying to convince you it was an orange. That's Brent Reed. So if he's getting paid to do that, he's doing a very poor job of making it. And I think that's what I was trying to say. I get that it's probably a shtick, and I get that you can't have a TV show that's meant to be debate and everyone's agreeing. I get it. But if you're going to be the bad guy, you got to be a bit smarter about it, a little less obvious, and actually do it in a way where someone can have a fucking debate with you. Someone can. You can't say that apple's an orange, and that's what he does all the fucking time. So that's probably the best way of putting it. But unlike, as I was saying, unlike the Blocker Roach opinion where everyone threw up different names, very few people are throwing up different names about Rudy. So sorry, Rudy. The public have spoken, mate. It's not just me. You got to sort your shit out. A lot of people saying bring back Kenty. So I've started the hashtag free Kenty. I really rated, and look, I know his life spiraled a bit. He cops a bit of flack off the camera, but as for what he was getting paid to do, he's fucking good at his job, Kenty, I reckon. He could provide a balanced argument. He could play, yeah, bring back Kenty. I agree. Free Kenty, hashtag free Kenty. He could provide somewhat of a balanced argument. He still had his moments. He was very hesitant to say anything bad against Ricky. But I said in the thing last week, I don't mind him having favourites, but because everyone has favourites, but you still got to call a spade a spade. You still got to call an apple an apple. And that's where they've lost the plot on that show with a few of them. And Gordy's the same about Kevy. And I'm going over old ground here, but Gordy, you cannot talk about Brisbane around Gordon Tallis. You can't get a balanced conversation. Hoops is good. I rated him. You know what started to annoy me about Hoops, Steve? I reckon he was putting all his rhyming slang in there and all his euphemisms too often. I reckon he started trying to do it on purpose because he started getting a bit of name for it. Started to get a bit too and that's a fucking stupid complaint to have, but it's just something I noticed with him before he got the flick. He's back now. They're all podcasting now. He's rocking a filthy mo. He's lost a bunch of weight. Hopefully, he's probably stopped drinking. He probably had to. He's lost a bunch of weight and he's rocking a filthy mo, Steve. There's a few people watching, guys. G'day to all of you. Jump in the chat. Have your say. Paul Crawley, not your favourite. Paul Crawley's funny when he does it. He try and pleads. He's like, but doggy, what you got to feel like, doggy? What you got to think, doggy? He tries to get people on side by kowtowing to him. Say what you want about Buzz Rothfield, but he didn't give a fuck who he went after, did he? Like he's a Cronulla fucking life member or some shit. He went after Cronulla all the time. All the time. A lot of people are into me too for saying that I thought Braith and Astor did it well. That's all well and good, but the argument's got to stack up. And everyone's saying Braith and Astor's as bad as Rudy. Their only argument was that he favours the Roosters. I didn't say you couldn't play favourites. I didn't say. I'll get there in a minute, Steve. There he's from. I didn't say you couldn't play favourites. I didn't say you couldn't have a favourite team. I just said you got to be smarter about it. I just said it couldn't be fucking bordering on the ridiculous. And Reedy's stuff doesn't border on the ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, the shit he goes on with. You can't help it. We're human beings, so you can't help but have favourites. Some other dickhead said, oh, as if you don't have fucking favourites. Well, I'm not on fucking television. I'm not getting paid to provide a fucking balanced opinion on anything. I'm not getting paid at all. Still waiting on Gibbs's jerky. Got some golf gear. So that's a redundant fucking argument too. What's Sherry's problem, you think? I read just before I come on, Steve, that he got dropped for this week. So they moved him from left centre to right centre, and then they dropped him this week. So I reckon he's just had a meltdown and said, I want out. You could go on for all the shit I've given Reddy, you could go on about feel good for fucking hours. He jumps on Twitter and says, "Don't know what you're talking about. Haven't heard anything." That guy just lies. He just fucking lies. Forget trying to tell you that an apple's an orange. He's just a fucking liar. Phil Gould, unbelievable. And he's employed by media and employed by a club. So someone's dumbass argument was, oh, well, Phil Gould's just as bad. He never says anything bad about the Bulldogs. He's fucking employed by him, mate. He's fucking employed by him. Why is he going to say anything bad about him? Oh, fair income. But then he bullshits to the ridiculous Phil Gould for him to come out on Twitter and all this shit's blowing up about Bronson Cherry and so it's all fake and I don't know what you're talking about. Like, come on, man, give us a break. But yeah, Cherry's an interesting one. I don't know. Like he's been a good news story, or has he? Depends. It depends on your views on it. Like he did get done for cheating, and he didn't have a few steroids in his system. He was fucking juiced up to the hilt. So yes, everyone deserves a second chance, and he's had a great comeback, and I'm happy for him. A few people are still dirty on him for cheating, but fuck, we're still at Melbourne in the comp, and that's all they do. So don't hate the player, hate the game. But got moved from left to right. It's an interesting thing, and I don't want to. This I'm going to border on sounding like I'm trying to pretend to be fucking professional here, but don't take it that way. I was a centre, played at a decent level, and I had to move. I was a left centre from fuck at the under 14s all the way up till I debuted in first grade. I was a left centre, and then one year Nathan Barnes come to the club, the old Newcastle Parramatta centre, come to our club and went straight into left centre as he should have, and they moved me to right centre, and it was like talking fucking Swahili, mate. It was I couldn't work it out. And it might sound it's probably a fault of the way footy was played because old centres used to be able to play both sides of the field. But as soon as I started doing left and rights, if you're taught or you upskill yourself or develop on one side of the field, the minute they put you on the other side of the field, it is like talking fucking Swahili. No idea. The lines are different, everything feels different. You generally develop a step. I had a left foot step, right, which meant when I was playing on the left, I was always coming off the left sideline inwards. Left foot step when you're a right centre means that you're always stepping towards the sideline. That's not a good thing. That's why front row is much easier. The big buffheads at the front. Yeah, you didn't have to worry too much about left or right. It's the bookends. But I remember it. I just remember it being really, really tough. And I know by the time you get to NRL level, um, you should be able to adapt, I guess, but people don't understand. So there was that. He got moved to the right, which he wouldn't have been happy about. And then because I guess he wasn't playing to the level they wanted him to play on the right, they've dropped him. But I'd be like, fucking come on, man. We're one round in. You've put me in basically a new position. It's a new position. Um, and now you've dropped me. So he's thrown he's had a sook. He's had a blow up. So yeah, that's the story, Steve. That's all they're reporting. Whether there's more going on behind the scenes because he owes that club a lot too. So there should be more to it. You would hope there's more to it because they're the ones who pulled him out of the abyss and gave his career a second shot. So if it is as simple as I got switched sides and then I got dropped, um, maybe just woe up for a second, mate. Don't do a Zach Lomax on yourself and fucking ruin yourself before you get going again. Interesting. Be interesting though. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Manly colours. Swap with the Panthers. I saw Para too. I thought he was going to Para. I wouldn't mind seeing him in Manly colours. I was having a look before because I saw something flash up that had him in Para colours, and then I was trying to find anything I could on Code Sports. Kid is upset, shocked teammates blindsided. Oh, Apparently Cooper Byers blew him with his dad because he backflipped on the Storm. Oh, poor Marcus. Don't know. Can't see anything about him going to the Panthers, mate. Point me in the direction of the article if you've read it. Manly need help. Storm. He might end up at the Storm. Wouldn't that fucking suck? Wouldn't that suck if he ends up at the Storm? But all the cheats hanging out together. Who fucking knows? Who knows? Well, second half has just kicked off. It's 8-0 Titans in an absolute terrible game of rugby league. There's 4.2 people in the crowd. Swap for Isaac Tungo. Well, Tungo seems like he's on the outer at Penrith too. Interesting. Big blocker. So Tungo seems like he's on the outer at Penrith, and then yeah, well, that'd make sense, wouldn't it? And obviously with the connections with the coach, it'd be pretty easy for him to ratify. I don't think any other team in the comp, especially after what's happened with Lomax, is going to be doing Melbourne any favours whatsoever. Unless I mean, fuck. Well, who am I kidding? Business is business. No one's going to stand on their fucking values, are they? Unless if it suits them, they will. But no one's going to just offer up Bronson Cherry to the Storm straight away. It'd want to be some big cash changing hands. 9 errors from the Dolphins in the first half. Outstanding. Outstanding work. How long do we have a 6 o'clock? Do we have a 6 o'clock Sunday game the whole year? I hope not. They always put shit footy on. This was always going to be a shit game. It was going to be a shit game one way or the other. If it went 70-3 like I thought it would, that would be shit to watch. And they've turned out it's not going to be 70-3 and that neither of them can play football. Whose spot does Sherry take though? I know you're saying player swap with Tugger, but Tugger was already on the bench. How many fucking more outside backs do Penrith want? Interesting. That'd be good though. I don't want him fucking going to the Storm. And there's no point going to Manly. No point going to Manly while Seabold's still the coach. You want to ruin your career, go to Manly at the moment. My God. Fucking hell. Storm drags. That was last night. I didn't actually see it because I was at my function. I was watching the scores. Storm jumped away early. Dragons came back 18-14 at half time, and then the Storm just pumped them in the second half. And you know what I'm shocked about? I'm absolutely shocked that I haven't seen any articles yet about Flanagan blaming the refs or the NRL or fucking online bullies or someone for the loss. Anyone heard anything? Who's he blamed? So it was it's good they put my most two hated teams together, so I didn't have to watch it. And then obviously looking at the scoreline, the way it went, and looking at when the tries were scored, the Storm just Storm in second gear. You're saying, Steve? Probably the biggest mistake I've made this year in all of life is not having Suafonga as one of my fullbacks in Supercoach. Fuck, Titans are going in again here. Oh, he's butchered. Oh, did you get down? Fuck, they butchered that. They butchered that. We're still in top chat. What happened to all chat? Oh, it dead set looks like third grade, Steve. This nothing against third graders, but this looks like third grade rugby league. The way he took that ball then, or didn't take that ball, then the big oaf didn't really run through the line. What was that? I'm glad we're talking so I don't have to listen to fucking blocker. So Storm did it easy. Cooper by scores. That's the big oaf who just dropped the ball. Cooper by scores. Good for my super coach. So I had Suafalongo as one of my fullbacks in super coach. I took him out for Keanu Kinney. I don't know why. I read too many fucking articles. I promised myself, and that's why I went good last year. I promised myself I wasn't going to listen to any fucking podcast, and the only articles I'd read, the only article I normally read is a buy, hold, sell when it comes out. And it's only because I usually tell you about buy rounds and shit. That's the only fucking thing I listen to. And for some reason, of course, fucking Balongo was going to fucking kill it. He got 155 points yesterday, and I don't have him. 2 weeks in a row. I'm 2 weeks in, and my super coach career is over. I am Todd Payton of the super coach world. I'm looking for fucking Seek ad tomorrow for a new job. Fucking hell. So we haven't heard fucking Flanagan blaming anyone. Did we learn anything new from the Storm, Steve? And the Dragons are going to say, we were gritty for the first half and we almost won. Fuck off. You're going to get the spoon. That's what's going to happen. Titans clearly aren't going to get the spoon. Look at them. Superstars. My power rankings tomorrow are going to be very interesting. Going to be very interesting. I don't know, Steve. Tomorrow with the power rankings, mate, I had the Knights as give them the trophy now, and you would think after a win like that, you can't take him out or give him the trophy now. But Ponga and Dylan Brown gone. There's a new category being formed, I think. There'll be a couple of new categories tomorrow with the power rankings. I don't think I can have the Knights and give them the trophy now column. I might be able to have Manly in the spoon column, though. I reckon the competition for the spoon's going to be as tight as the competition for the premiership. Don't you reckon? There's a lot of teams already early on fighting it out for the worst team in the NRL. I haven't seen their next 5 games, Steve, because I don't give a shit about the Knights, mate. That's your job. Who are their next 5 games? You might have just given me the category. Shame about the next 5 games. Who's their next 5 games? While you give me the next 5 games, Steve, let's talk about the Panthers Sharks. Clinical, the Panthers. Warriors, Dogs, Raiders, Tigers, Storm. Oh, no. Oh, no. How'd it go? Oh, how'd it go from 2-0 to 5 or 2-5? Oh, where you got the Warriors? Is that at home? Dogs, Raiders, Tigers, Storm. Oh, well, Wales at home. You got the Wales at home. That's their first away game. Apparently, Fletcher Sharp's coming back. You might end up with the team that you should have had. Oh, and then you play the Dragons. So you'll be back on the win. You'll be back. That'll be battle for the spoon. Battle for the spoon round, what'll that be? Round 8. Battle for the spoon round 8. Knights and the Dragons. Well, you might get the Dogs. So when you think about it, I thought they should have started the year with Sandon Smith as their halfback. So you're going to have Sandon Smith and Fletcher Sharp, which should have been the starting spine. All you got to do is find a fullback. Ponga's always going to get hurt, mate. And bad news that it's a hammy. Bad news that it's a hammy early in the season, brother. He'd be carrying that. But also, you got to take some solace out of how they played without him today. Why am I sticking up for the Knights? Fuck you. They played well with them today. They put on more points against Manly. So no biggie. Panthers Sharks. A few Shark supporters were filthy on me because I said in my tips that they were going to be found out for who they really are. Everyone forgets who the Sharks really are. The Sharks can't beat good teams. Sharks don't beat good football teams. They only bash up on the mediocre and poor teams. They were never going to be, it was never going to be close against the Panthers. Not at all going to be close. And Sarko drops the ball over the line. They're having, it's a joke, everybody. It's a joke, so don't sue me. They've had a bet on themselves to lose here, the Dolphins. The amount of mistakes they're making, every time they get close, they see the try line and fucking drop the ball. Someone's had a sneaky fucking fiver on themselves to lose here. What were the Titans paying? Titans would have been big odds too. Unbelievable. Hang on to the fucking ball. My goodness. So Panthers clinical. Hammer should have won himself. Yeah. Hammer's not backing himself. Talking at the start of the potty about the new football and there not being enough, no defence. Fuck, the Panthers' defence is all right. They had them to nil for a huge part of that game. They only got over late-ish, the Sharks. Same old Sharks, same team. I don't really see, I think we were saying this last week, I don't really see a heap of teams that are showing me anything different from last year. Dolphins, I reckon, are the same old Dolphins. Sharks are going to be the same old Sharks. Dogs are fucking exactly the same as they were last year, or the back half of last year. They need Toby Sexton back. Manly, same as last year. Raiders, same as last year. Like to get in front and then fuck around and fall behind. Broncos, maybe. Well, only to the negative. Who's showing us something different to the positive? You can even say that about Para. Para lose by 50 and then win a game they shouldn't have won. That was Para last year. I reckon the Dolphins are the same as fucking last year. Titans last week, they looked very much the same as the good old Titans, didn't they? We can say the Tigers, but the Tigers only played one game. And the Knights, well, the Knights. But they just lost half their team. So the Knights don't look like the same team as last year, but they're about to. And the Panthers, just give them the trophy now. I know you don't think so, Steve, but surely Panthers are good for the title. Who else can win it? Really? Really? Yes, the Storm, but we're not going to talk about the Storm. Who else can win it apart from Penrith? Really? Storm let the Dragons, of all people, put 20 on them. Dragons have got probably one of the worst attacks in the comp. Dolphins are in. 14-4. 27 minutes to go. Fucking hell, what a rubbish game of footy. You know what I might do while that rubbish is there? I'm just going to check the Formula One. Check the Formula One, and then we'll have a look at next week's games while this rubbish is still going on. Did we jinx Oscar again this week? Oh, mate, are you Panthers, Warriors, Tigers, and Roosters? What's that for? Is that for showing us something different, or is that for who else can win the comp? Steve? Oh, fuck. Piastri and Norris are out. This is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people have crashed out of the Chinese Grand Prix. Mercedes 1 and 2, Ferrari 3rd, 4th. We've got a Haas in 5th and Alpine in 6th. Lawson 7, Hadjar 8, Carlos Sainz 9, Colapinto in 10. Jesus. And 7 out. My God. Fucking Formula One. Something different. What are we seeing? Yeah, it was. Yeah, but are the Panthers different to how they finished the year? So let's go through them. You got the Panthers showing something different. Is that different to how they finished the year? I don't think it is. They finished the year like the side we're seeing. They're a bit tighter. They're less tired, but they're Warriors sort of starting the same way they started last year. Remember last year the Warriors were running 3rd or 4th for the majority of the year until they faded late with injuries. But I reckon their defence has stepped up a notch. The defence has definitely stepped up a notch, so we'll give you that. Tigers, mate, it's only one game. Tigers, it's only one game. And what are the Roosters showing you different? I reckon the Roosters are showing exactly what they showed last year. Clunky in attack, ill discipline. Yeah, they do look, yeah, I guess they look better. I won't argue too much with you on the Panthers. The Wars, let's see them away from New Zealand, but remember they were that team. They were doing this to teams early last year as well. Tigers too early to tell, and I reckon the Roosters were seen exactly the same as Roosters worse than last year. They were pretty fucking poor last year. Our mate Brent Reed was writing them off to not even make the semis last year. Remember they were on struggle street. I think they got the same issues. Someone brought up a good point during the week, and I didn't do enough research into it, but we will. It was about Trent Robertson killing halfbacks. Trent Robbo, the halfback killer. There was someone getting defensive about Shane Flanagan because I said that Flanagan ruined Lachlan Ilias, so they were blowing up and said, "What about Trent Robinson?" And then they started rattling off all the halfbacks that he hadn't developed. And I didn't put enough thought into it, but it'd be good to look back and see exactly who he's killed and how he's killed them. Because I can only think, obviously Cooper Cronk, but he was already made, so he didn't develop him. They rattled off Lachlan Lamb. They said Kyle Flanagan. They said the Roosters killed him. I don't think the Roosters killed Kyle Flanagan. I think the game changed too much for Kyle at the time. The game completely changed and went away from structured halfbacks, and he was about as structured as they got, if anyone remembers. No, no, did I say Lachlan Lamb? Lachlan Lamb was meant to be the next big thing. He didn't develop him. He hasn't really, like Sam Walker, hasn't really kicked on the way he should, has he? So there might be some truth to that. We'll have to have a look at it. This fucking game is terrible. Um, all right. Next week's tips. Let's have a look, shall we? Round 3. Raiders Dogs in Canberra. You reckon Cherry out of the Roosters by round 8? Savala's got to come in, doesn't he? They need Hugo Savala back. See, when they had that combo running at the end of last year, because the Roosters came good at the end of last year, didn't they? And they had Savala and Sam Walker playing. I think he'd be nervous, Cherry, for sure. Yeah, that's a good call. Right, next week's games. Raiders, Dogs. Down in Canberra, Raiders. Raiders by 2 because they can never. Raiders by 2 after being up by 20. It's in Canberra. Raiders get out to a lead. Dogs come back. Raiders kick again. Raiders by 2 go the milk. Roosters, Panthers. Panthers easy again. Be similar score to what they've been doing. I'm going to go 24. I'll go 24-6 again. 24-6 again. Panthers over the Roosters. How you got that one, Steve? With the ill discipline that the Roosters have got and their lack of fucking structure around their halves at the moment, that's the sort of shit that the Panthers will just exploit. Something chronic. They could put a score on them. I got to get all the Roosters out of my Supercoach side, man. I got way too many of them. What was I thinking? Storm Broncos. I'm in Melbourne. Fucking Storm. Storm by how many? Storm by 30. Unfortunately. Storm by 30. So much else to say. You don't even have to do a deep dive with these games. You know that Panthers are going to take care of the Roosters. And fuck, we sound confident when the tips have been absolutely shocking. What have I got this week? We don't know the end result here yet. Oh, Cobbo's just bombed another try. How does he not score that? Broncos to bounce back. You're dreaming, Steve Leary. So we got the Eels wrong. Got the Wars right. So that's 1. Got the Rabbits wrong. Still on 1. Got the Tigers right. That's 2. Got the Storm right. That's 3. Got the Panthers right. That's 4. Got Manly very, very wrong. Still on 4. And it looks like I'm going to get the Dolphins wrong here. Fucking 4 out of 8. And I'm saying next week's easy to tip. Jesus Christ. Few people have accused me of being on stuff. This is a sober podcast, I can guarantee. But when I say dumb shit like that, I don't blame them. Eels to fucking Broncos to bounce back. You're letting your emotions rule your head, Steve Leary. It's not humanly possible. In Melbourne. They lost to the Eels at home. What are they bouncing back with? Fuck. Was Knights. Was Knights on Saturday afternoon at McDonald Jones Stadium. Broncos by 1. Who's going to kick the fucking field goal? Reynolds is hurt. They're all hurt. Knights was at the moment, Sportsbet saying $1.95 the Knights and $1.89 the Warriors. I'm shocked that hasn't already come in and blown out because of the injuries. You got to go the Wars. Are you actually going to tip the Wars though, Steve-O? Sharks, Dolphins. Sharks only beat bad teams, so they'll beat the Dolphins. See, how can, I guess, see, these odds make sense. They've got the Sharks at $1.49 and the Dolphins at $2.64. That makes sense. What doesn't make sense to me is $1.95 the Knights and $1.89 the Wars, unless they haven't taken into account those injuries yet. There's no way that should be that tight, I wouldn't have thought. I would have thought $1.50 the Warriors. Oh, Rabbits Tigers. In Gossie. When's that on? Saturday night. Might be going to the footy. Wouldn't mind seeing that. $1.58 the Rabbits, $2.38 the Tigers. Ooh. Fuck. Head says Rabbits, heart says Tigers. Head says Rabbits, heart says Tigers. In Gossie though. What are we called now? Polytech Stadium. I only live 5 minutes from there. Yeah, we'll go the head says Rabbits, heart says Tigers. Rabbits play good again. Well, that was a good game of footy, wasn't it? I'm stuck on that one. Can I reserve it? Feel like I should be tipping the Rabbits. But then do the Rabbits have an emotional letdown after getting up for the Roosters? Or does Wayne just fucking say to him, listen, you fucks, I told you that AJ's record wasn't going to be good for us. You better fucking make up for it this week. Maybe they put 30 on the Tigers. Because you couldn't really get a read on the Tigers' defence, could you? Because the Cowboys were fucking woeful. I think I'm talking myself into the Rabbits. Go the Rabbits until the Tigers make me believe a little bit more. Don't want them to win. I'll say that out loud. I want the Tigers to win, but I'm going to tip the Rabbits. Rabbits by 8. Eels Dragons. Is that the game we're going to be doing? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ, you heard it here first. For the Sunday Sesh next week, we're going to be watching the Eels and the Dragons. Fucking shoot me. Hopefully there's some other sport on. Do we have to watch the footy? I know that's what I base the podcast on, but if it's a fucking shit game like we're watching now, is there something else we can watch? Get on the Dragons. Nah, won't tip them. Not tipping them. Can't tip them. Eels. Eels by 52. Fuck the Dragons. How many tips have you got right this week, Steve? We tend to go the opposite. We're going the fucking opposites on quite a bit here. Guys, you're still there. Jump in the chat. Say hello. Let us know who your tips are for next week, will you? Because I'm struggling. I'm going to be 4 out of 8 this week, 5 out of 8 last week. How have you got the Dragons beating the Eels? I'd like to know. Yeah, King Gutho will score 3 times. I hate you. I hate you. Why would you say that? Fucking try and get me upset. Herbie's done nothing. Fucking King Gutho. Fuck King Gutho. All right, last game, Cowboys Titans. What an absolute. What about how bad the footy is to finish the round? Oh my God. How's our Sunday Arvo footy? We might skip next week. We might not do this fucking next week. We got to sit through Eels, Dragons, and then Cowboys, Titans. What's the point of living? Very fucking hard to stay sober with that shit going on. Well, you can't tip the Cowboys. They're on my never to tip again list. So fucking Titans it is. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. That's going to be the worst afternoon's fucking viewing. I don't even think, not that I've made this very interesting, but I don't know how you would make that interesting. Fucking hell. Titans by what? It could be one of them games, although this should have been one of them games. That could be a 40-30 game, the Titans versus the Cowboys. Here goes the hammer. See how they butcher this. He butchered it. Oh! Surely you got to pass to surely you got to pass to fucking Herbie there. think my Coles delivery just got here. Dolphins are in. Yeah, hang on, mate. Coles delivery's just arrived. Oh. Hey, mate, can you put it at the front door? Yeah. Thanks, mate. Coles delivery in the middle of me fucking podcast. How funny. Well, there's still a chance here. Come on, the Dolphins. Oh, come on, the Dolphins. Three out of five if the Dolphins win. So you had the Dolphins in this as well? Yeah. Can you ride the Dolphins home, mate? It gives us both a five. I wish you'd passed it to Osako, though. I needed that for Supercoach. How'd your, how'd your Supercoach go last week, Steve? Good average, five. Yeah, but averaging five's not going to win us any comps. I reckon the Dolphins score 3 tries in the back end of this. Let's make an end of game prediction. 11 minutes and 18 seconds left. I reckon the final score ends up 28-14. 18, 20. Yeah, 28-14. 24. 3 tries, 2 conversions in the last 10 minutes for the Dolphins. I had 1,160 something in Supercoach last week. Everyone was getting 13 and 1400s. Fucking did me in. What have I on today? Oh, it's not going well. I'm on 1,076. Cobbo's only on 32. Tino's only on 38. So Tino's got to go next week. I need to use 18 boosts next week just for Supercoach. Kinney's got 56, man. Osako's only got 39. Fucking hell. Am I losing all my head-to-heads? Head-to-head. Yeah, I'm getting smoked in every fucking comp I'm in. So far, what advice am I good for? I'm no good for tips. I'm no good for Supercoach. I'm no good for the ladder predictions. I am good at picking shithouse journos and shithouse commentators. So maybe we need to frame the podcast as follow me if you want to know what not to do. It's going to be a long 10 minutes. Fuck. Do we need Sunday night footy? I don't know if we need Sunday night footy. Seems like a bit of overkill. I'd be very happy if footy just finished at 6 o'clock on a Sunday. We could all go about our business. Bring back Monday night footy? Or is that too much? Maybe we bring back Monday night footy. Yeah, finish at the 4 p.m. game. On with you. And they need to do what they do in the NFL. I suppose it's a bit travel. I guess they can't. They need to have a fucking look ahead in the draw though and see. Look, this game was always going to be rubbish. And next week is a shocking Sunday. It needs to be match of the shouldn't 4 p.m. Sunday, match of the day, match of the round. You got to make sure your Sunday arvos are worth watching. Next Sunday is atrocious. I don't even want to be here. I'm sure no one will complain if I'm not, but next Sunday's games are fucking horrible. I still can't go. I still haven't quite gotten past the fact that you tip the Dragons over the Eels next week. What's your logic behind that, Gutho? Idiot. Fucking idiot. 14-12, Titans over the Dolphins, 8 minutes, 24 seconds left. It's been the worst game of rugby league of the year so far. 100 mistakes a team. What is this shit? What is this shit? Put more points on the Storm than the Eels did. Yeah, but it was round one. Yeah, you said the Storm were in second gear, though. Oh, fuck. Hammer's over. There's one of my 3 tries. Come on, Dolphins. Come on. Put more points on the Storm than the Eels did. That's your fucking logic. You said before the Storm are in second gear. Chat's live, guys. For those people watching, feel free to jump in, have your opinion. I think Steve Leary's off his fucking head. I owe the man $20 now, so who am I to fucking argue? And they had 14 points round one. What's that got to do with anything? That was a shocking game too. If that's how you're coming up with your tips, mate, I can't back you. I'm sorry. This could have been the fucking Titans' one chance to win a game this year, and they're fucking it right up. Fucking it right up. I think Melbourne had 14. Melbourne had 14 players. Yeah, against the Eels. So what are you? Hang on, now I'm confused. You're picking fucking the Dragons over the Eels because the Dragons scored more points against the Storm than the Eels did. But you're saying that the Eels had 14, Melbourne had 14 players against the Eels because of the ref. So that doesn't make any fucking sense. I suppose the Dragons are saying that fucking Dogs had 14 players too. So no one can just lose a game of footy anymore. Everyone has to lose because of something other than you fucked up. You just fucking lost. That's the problem. Not that you know what that's like at the moment, Steve, because you're a fucking Knights supporter. You'll know for the next 5 weeks, though. That's a horrid run. That next 5 weeks is an absolutely horrible run. Makes up for the second gear yesterday. We're talking about the Eels versus the Dragons, mate, not the Storm. You're saying the fucking Broncos are going to beat the Storm. Oh, second gear. Yeah, no, righto. I got you now. You confused the shit out of me, but I'm with you. Knights are undefeated. That fucking hurt my head trying to figure that out, Steve. It's too late on a Sunday for that. Fuck. Tell you what, I've been losing. I've lost 21 kilos since I stopped drinking. I reckon I put 16 of them back on today at Yumcha. I haven't had a feed like that in a fucking long time, but the dishes kept coming and I couldn't say no. And then the mango pancakes came out. How good are fucking mango pancakes at Yumcha? It was a fair income shit too. We're in Chinatown in the middle of the city. Even the kids, I nearly got my son to eat a chicken foot, but he dogged it. I nearly got him to eat a chicken foot. But we must have had fucking 15 dishes, I reckon. They just kept bringing them and I couldn't say no to them. Did find out though, for anyone who doesn't drink, there's this, I found a new zero beer, Tsingtao. I used to love me Tsingtaos, mostly because I could say Tsingtao when I was drinking them. It's a Thai beer, fucking beautiful. And they brought out a zero version of it today at the Yumcha. And it tastes exactly like Tsingtao. So I'll be on them. These Cooper Zeros are going good. But I do like saying Tsingtao when I'm drinking a beer. They weren't too bad on the fat as fuck meter either. I don't think the car. I was having a little bit of trouble reading them, but I think it was under 5 grams of sugar and it was under 15 grams of carbs. So they weren't brilliant, but they weren't shocking, and they tasted exactly like a Tsingtao. And that's the challenge. I was talking about it with the guys I was having lunch with. It's a huge industry now, zero alcohol drinks. And when that first started, I remember. So I've done a podcast for the last 5 years called Wine and Wisdom, and the 4 of us used to get together and drink 4 bottles of wine. No wonder I needed to stop and talk about different philosophical topics. But there was a week there where my doctor said, oh, you should probably lay off the grog for a while. So I took a zero alcohol wine under the Wine and Wisdom podcast and I literally spat it all across the room. It was one of the funniest events that ever happened because it was terrible. It's come a long way. That was only 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're actually tasting like wine and actually tasting like beers. If they get it to a point where it's very fucking hard to tell the difference, there's probably a possibility that the zero alcohol market takes over the alcohol market when it comes to beers and wines. Because more and more, and I haven't converted anyone into a non-drinker, but I've converted lots of people around me now into having zeros instead of beers when we're out and about, because people need to drive, people need to do shit. And what they're finding, what the guys who haven't quit drinking are finding, is that they don't mind it because they're still getting pretty much what they're having a beer for. They're getting the social aspect of it. They're getting a refreshing hit on a hot day. They're getting all the things that people drink for except for the alcohol hit. So in the world that we're moving into, and kids these days aren't drinking, which is fucking great to see. There's something, I can't remember the stats, but it was something like people of my generation spent $80 billion on alcohol. The next generation, 18-year-olds now, have spent about $8 billion a year on alcohol. So it's heading that way, and that's why all these companies had to develop their zero alcohol products. And pretty soon, it won't be long before it's bigger. It's got more revenue than the full alcohol. And what's going to be disappointing about it, though, is that they'll start charging full whack, which is shit. They'll start charging full whack for, like at the moment, you can get a case of these Cooper Zeros for $45 from Dan Murphy's. And because for all intents and purposes, you're buying a box of soft drink, aren't you? There's no alcohol in it, so it's just another beverage. There's already a couple of companies out there, and I've ripped into Heaps Normal before. They've got a nice beer, but they want to charge you $20 for a 4-pack, which is fucking ridiculous when it's non-alcoholic beer. So the problem will be when the market does shift and it's more about non-alcoholic beverages and alcoholic beverages, they'll start charging full whack. And if it gets up to $70 or $80 a case for non-alcoholic beer, then I'm out. I'll just fucking go back to, although I was about to say I'll go back to water, but it's fucking dear as poison now too. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But at least they're putting the effort into it and you can actually enjoy it. And so where I was getting with that is they've actually got a couple of nice wines now. I'm going to get it wrong, but if you check out Dan Murphy's as a brand, I think that it's a black and gold label, and we think we'll try and talk about it today. I think it was called Two Fat Cats. Something to do with cats, and 2 of them might have been fat cats. And they do a Chardonnay and a Shiraz that we found. I've tried the Chardonnay and it tastes like a real fucking Chardonnay. You're up there in the Hunter, Steve. I'm sure you're all about your Chardonnays, mate. But it was like $10 a bottle. and the Chardonnay tasted like a real fair income Chardonnay. I haven't tried the Shiraz yet. That's more my wife's go, but it's exciting times in the non-alcoholic beverage stakes. I did my first work, not my first work function. We had our awards night, our annual awards night on last night. It's the first time I finished the night with all my clothes on. I've worked for the network for, oh, look out. I worked in the same place for 11 years now. So that's 11 awards nights and 11 times I've finished the night half naked doing the worm on the dance floor. Can confirm no worms, which is a bit disappointing, but I've actually got an injury that prevents me. And I kept all my fucking clothes on. So it was a different, it's different, the awards, because 6 hours of free piss. Like we go to 5-star hotels, the room's decked out. There's 200 or 300 people in there, and 6 hours of free piss. The fucking thing gets loose, mate. Thing gets loose. So it was. I was more of a fly on the wall last night, watching all the shenanigans go on. Completely sober. Cheers to the organisers because they made sure that there was zero alcohol beers and wines there for me, which was fucking awesome. A couple of people joined me in the sober corner. But fuck, it was nice to finish with my clothes on. And you know what the best thing was? This morning, because the worst mornings I have ever woken up, I reckon, in my life, 3 of the top 5 have been after those fucking awards nights. Easy 3 of the top 5. Horrible, horrible days. We always stay down there for the night, but we used to have to take an extra night because of how dusty we'd wake up the next morning. So to wake up fresh this morning, get down to the Umchar was something new, all new experiences. Anyway, that was a fucking terrible game of rugby league. The Dolphins managed to sneak home. That gives Steve Leary and I 5 out of 8 for the week again. Good to chat. A couple of new faces in the chat early on. That was good. Thanks for hanging in there, Steve Leary, as usual. I'll send you that $20 and stay safe this week, everyone. I'll catch you all next week. Have a great time.